Karibuni J-Talk. Poleni sana kwa sababu ya kuchelewa, lakini nimefurahi sana leo kumkaribisha Mkenya mwenzangu hapa shule ya biashara Stanford, Anthony Wagacha. Kakangu, karibu.
Asante sana Jason. Nimefurahi kuwa nawe.
Mimi pia. Habari mwaka wa kwanza yako hapa shule ya biashara. Wewe ni mmoja wa Africa MBA Fellows. Na tueleze.
Mwaka wa kwanza umeenda haraka sana. Asikutarajia utapita haraka vile. Miezi 9 imesonga. Ilikuwa jana. Jana ndio ilikuwa siku ya mwisho kufanya darasa. Lakini mambo mengi sana yametendeka hiyo miezi 9. Kuna masomo, kuna kuwajua watu wengine.
Wanafunzi wengi hapa.
Wanafunzi wengi sana, watu ambao wamefanya vitu vingi sana. Na pia kuna changamoto za kupatana na leaders kutoka nchi za ng'ambo na kutembea nchi mbalimbali kuona vile maendeleo yanavyoendelea.
Vizuri. Na umeanza mitihani ya mwisho?
Nilianza jana, nilifanya wa kwanza jana. Nina ingine 4.
Ulikuwa vipi?
Mtihani wa jana? Au mbaya? I think ilikuwa ilienda vizuri. Ilikuwa mtihani wa formation of new ventures, entrepreneurship and formation of new ventures. Nilipenda sana hilo darasa.
Mwalimu anaitwaje?
Robert Chess.
Okay.
Nilipenda sana darasa lile.
Kwa nini?
Kwa maana wafunzo ubunifu, pia wafunzo jinsi ya kuanzisha biashara. Jinsi ya kufanya biashara yako inoge, na jinsi ya kuajiri watu, kutafuta mali, kutafuta pia ideas. Na changamoto unazopata unapoanzisha biashara yako mwenyewe.
Sana. Una swali kwangu?
Ndio. I mean, mwenyewe wafanya mitihani?
Nilikuwa na mtihani wa kwanza leo asubuhi. Strategy beyond markets.
Ulishafanya huo?
Kwa kweli. Na kwa hakika tulikuwa na swali moja kuhusu Rais Magufuli Tanzania kuhusu mambo hayo ya kusema kwa kampuni za mining kwamba wamekuwa wakifanya ufisadi mbalimbali. Na tunazungumzia strategy zao za kuwezesha Tanzania kuendelea na biashara zao, lakini pia kusaidia serikali na maendeleo ya nchi, labda kujenga majengo za kufanya processing za metali.
Naona jambo la ufisadi haswa ni jambo kubwa sana katika continent ya Afrika.
Afrika Mashariki na mahali pengine. Ni kweli.
Right, when you're talking about issues of governance and leadership in Africa, I think and it's something that I encountered a lot, and I encountered over the 9 months. It was a constant pain. Anytime investors would talk about investing in Africa, they would their biggest issue with Africa was the issue of corruption. Is it something that you came across besides the strategy beyond markets class?
Definitely entering into every discussion.
Right.
I'm having plans to be back in Kenya post-graduation and trying to source investment from Silicon Valley.
Right.
Trying to show them the growth and the opportunities that exist in our part of the world. Certainly, that's always a question that comes up, and I'm telling them, look, there's a new crop of leaders coming through. There's a new crop of honest leaders that are in it not just for themselves, but they want to see the development of the whole country and everybody to be lifted up. So it's definitely a question that's you can't avoid. But I always tell them that America's not free of its own issues in that regard.
I think it's a leadership crisis across the board. And what we see then is the need for integrity. I mean, there's this thing that is going on today. Jimmy Comey, the former FBI director, just was giving a testimony to the House Senate, I think.
Exactly.
And it's just it just shows the level of governance. I mean, the pain points in governance across the board. But let's leave that aside. What are you thinking of doing over summer?
So in summer I'll actually be linking up with, and we're doing some work with Mkopa Solar, our darling company
in Kenya, right?
in Kenya, in Nairobi. So I'm very excited to be part of that team. You know, they're doing some wonderful things in the country, and I'm very excited about that. I'll also be working on my own idea. It's kind of a nascent idea in the solar space, along with my wife, who's going to be coming out with me.
Nice.
Lauren is my wife. Yeah.
Okay.
As you know her well, she's also a student here at Stanford.
She's Kenyan.
Yeah, she's by now. We can call her Kenya.
Yeah.
And you know, with this J Talk, I'm hoping I can have a few more conversations with some of the great Kenyans that are around back home, and get more of an idea, get more of the ideas that are out there, you know, into the public domain.
Right. Is this something you want to do long term?
Right now, it's a little bit experimental, but you know, I'm enjoying it. I've been having some great conversations. Right now, so far, it's been a lot with just our fellow students, but we have an incredibly, as you well know, diverse and interesting cohort here at Stanford.
I agree with
from
you.
all over the world. We have pretty much every country covered.
Yes.
So in terms of getting conversations, building bridges between different countries, I think it's an interesting thing to be doing. So we'll see. Yeah, you'll just take it step by step.
Fantastic.
I'm glad you came on.
Thank you.
You're my most honored guest.
It's been a while. We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure to be here.
Tell me what your plans are for the summer internship. I know you're going to be heading to New York.
Yeah, I'm doing New York. I'll be doing Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. I'll be doing financial technology, and this is because I'm interested in the space. I think it's something that will be booming in Africa, and it's unlocked so much potential in the continent. So I want to get, you know, like a deeper dive into it while at Merrill Lynch. After that, I'll be coming back home for a while. We got into Startup Garage. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Hongera.
Yes, asante sana. So I'm working on this idea. Well, before I talk about the idea, I think I'd rather talk about the bigger picture.
Yes.
The bigger picture is, I understand that Africa is, you know, it's just taking off, right? And for it to realize its potential, besides the governance issues, there are also, you know, nascent issues, just basic level issues. And these are, you know, Africa should be able to feed itself.
Yes.
Africa should be able to educate itself. And Africa should have a sustainability plan, you know, with regard to these two, feeding itself and educating itself. And so for me, my focus will be on, you know, educating Africa. I feel we have a lot of youth, as you know, and the continent is probably one of the only other that has the youngest population in the world. And that is good in itself, but it's also a ticking time bomb if you don't educate the continent, because you'll have so many young people who are not educated, so they get into the workforce but can't do anything. And that is the case right now. So over summer, for the remaining part of the summer, what I'll do is I'll be working with some colleagues from here, and what we'll be doing is testing the idea in the education space.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we'll talk about the idea once we've experimented.
Exactly. You don't want to give it away. You well know you want to keep these things a little close to your chest.
Exactly. As you know, I mean, there's a lot of iteration that goes on.
Absolutely.
Right. Right. So that's what I'll be doing. And then obviously we're coming back next year. So
tell me, so you're one of the 6 Africa MBA fellows in the Stanford class?
We're actually 5.
Oh, 5 of us.
Yeah.
5. An amazing group. You know, Africa's very best. I'm sure there's a lot of viewers out there who would be really like to understand the process of applying for that, and how you know, how it felt to be selected as one of those fellows.
Good question. Well, I mean, it's a privilege. I think Stanford is a great opportunity. You know, you get to meet incredible people like you. I told you the first time I met you, the only other way that I would have met you was through, you know, online platforms, right?
Yes.
I'd only heard about Jason during the swimming competitions. So the application process itself is not difficult. I think what is difficult is, you know, having a track record, which is what they look for. They're looking for the next crop of leaders for the continent. And so you have to have thought about this. You don't need to have premeditated this. You need to have had a track record to date. And, you know, the application process is just, you know, you load in a 250-word essay right about this time of the year, every year. For the last, I think, 4 years they've been doing this. The deadline for these years was just yesterday.
It was yesterday? Oh,
yes,
wow.
Yes. So
shame we didn't do it before for those who had not applied yet, but there's always next year.
Right. So I've actually read so many essays in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
Of guys who are trying to get in. And what you do in that essay is just give your vision for the continent.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
This is the what matters most to you and why essay.
No.
Oh, it's a different one. Oh, this is the This
what
is
are you going to
different.
do for the continent,
Yes.
and how, and why?
Yeah.
Right, and then they select a finalist list. Usually they receive an upward of thousands of applications.
Yeah, it's competitive.
And then they narrow down to, I think, 100. And then from the 100 finalists, you go through the normal application for everybody else.
Yes.
And if you get in, then you also get a scholarship.
I see. So when you found out that you had been selected, what was that like?
Well, it was exciting.
Yeah.
I think I took a step back, went back and reevaluated all the goals that I had for the next couple of years, and just saw how this would change that.
Yeah.
I modeled these. I did evaluation model for all the different tracks that I could take, and I added this as one of the confounding factors.
Okay.
And then got a present value for all these. And I was happy.
You're a very analytical man, so I'm not
No.
surprised.
I think it's important that you do that.
Yeah.
Because this is a big step in your journey.
Yeah.
And so it's important to see whether the amount of value that it brings to you, and not just you, but those people around you and the society at large.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So it was really exciting for me. Mm-hmm.
Great. So, most of Kenya by this point knows a lot about me, having been swimming through the media, etc. Feel free to ask me questions, but how about you tell us a little bit about who is Anthony Wagacha?
Anthony Wagacha.
Where did he grow up? Where did he go to school?
Right. So I'm a Kenyan.
Well, I know that.
Perfect. So I grew up in Kenya. Initially born in Nakuru, raised in Nyahururu, Kiambu, Nairobi.
Wow.
I've actually gone I've cut across many places in Kenya. Educated in those places as well.
Ukitembea sana.
Nimetembea sana. Alafu nikaenda university, Strathmore University.
Well, what about primary, secondary?
Primary school, I went to a place called Retire Primary in Nyahururu.
Okay.
High school, I went in Nyeri.
Okay.
And then transitioned to Nairobi. I was privileged enough to have gotten a scholarship to Strathmore University.
Okay.
Did actuarial science, the pioneer class. Excelled. Graduated in 2014 June.
Wow.
And after graduation, started teaching in the same institution.
Okay.
I was teaching actuarial science.
Wow.
But then also joined KPMG.
Akili nyingi. Sana.
Akili ni baraka. I'm actually excited. It's a privilege.
But hard work as well.
But yeah, I think you have to work hard. I don't think it's you just genius does not exist. I don't think it does. I think what exists is the tenacity and the passion to work on your craft and what you're passionate and what you really love, right? And then just having the focus to do it. That's what exists, and that is difficult to do, and that is difficult to replicate every other time, right? So there are moments when I've failed, but there are moments but most of the times you succeed, and people just see the success, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They don't see the success.
Yeah. No, it's definitely
But yeah,
of that.
Strathmore, then joined KPMG.
Yes.
I worked as a financial risk management consultant.
Okay.
Did a lot of business in Africa with KPMG for banks, insurance companies, and regulators.
A lot of time spent in Excel.
Well, yes, and PowerPoint, right? And writing reports and presenting to boards. That was exciting.
Yeah.
But then it became boring at some point, so I quit.
Why did that happen?
It happened. Okay, fine. I had just gotten into Stanford.
Oh,
so that was to happen eventually.
Okay.
But then I got an opportunity to work with this startup that was looking to invest in East Africa, Southern Africa, and was based out of Washington.
Okay.
Called Village Lift.
Yeah.
So I joined them as a project manager. Exciting stuff because I was helping them set up shop in East Africa, but then again left them as well to come and join business school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And so, what have some of your highlights been this year, and who are some of the more interesting people you've met?
Well, I think the first week I came here, I met Kagame.
Oh yeah.
The president, the Rwandan president, and that was exciting. Getting to hang out with him, getting to hear what are his perspectives on Africa for the next 10 years, just understanding how he thinks and what drives him. And then over the course of time, I think the most incredible people I've met are my classmates.
Yeah.
You know, these are incredible individuals, you know, from all across the world.
Yeah.
They've done incredible things.
And it's a very diverse group.
Right. And then they're transforming, they're very transformative, that's what I would say. They're transforming industries, transforming nations. That has been exciting for me.
Yeah.
And also it has really pushed me to want more, to want to do more, and to also just do more myself. Not just for today, but also the future. Besides that, I think going to Indonesia over spring was also
that part of the global study trip.
Right.
Yeah.
So we went to Indonesia, we went to Singapore, did a stop at Bali, had a lot of fun there. But Indonesia was a highlight because Indonesia in so many ways is so close to what most African nations are.
Yes.
Huge population, huge divides between the have-nots and the have-much.
Yeah.
But then you can see how they're transforming how they're shaping the economy, you know, through very scalable solutions. So that was good to see, because I could see what we could borrow or what might not work in our country and in our countries and the like. Yeah. Singapore was also good because in the 1950s, Kenya and Singapore were head to toe. Were head to head in terms of development.
Yeah.
But then they just overtook us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so understanding how they did that was also important.
Yeah. Bringing those learnings back to Kenya.
Yeah. And California, over the 9 months, it's been a good home.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah, the weather here is fantastic, as you can tell.
Kuna mvua leo, but kwa kawaida it's always
Kwa kawaida
sunny.
kunyeshi. Yeah. It's really good here.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, you have a question for
What
me?
are your highlights? It's been 9 months.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I think I have to second on the different people.
Right.
That we have the chance to study with. That's been a real highlight. I think I've showcased a few of them so far on this show, and I'm hoping to showcase quite a few more. And then I've really enjoyed the classroom experience. I think the way the business school classes are taught and the kind of Socratic method and the discussion that takes place in the classroom and the way the professors manage that discussion around a specific business case. That's been a really interesting way to learn, different than how, my undergrad, for instance, where a lot of the classes were just lecture based and you didn't have quite the same level of discussion going on.
Okay.
So I think that's also been a highlight. I also was lucky to go on one of these study trips, and I was closer to home. I got to be in South Africa.
Okay.
And we got to travel. We were in Cape Town and then Johannesburg, and met some very interesting people there. People like Albie Sachs, who was one of the Supreme Court judges who helped craft the South African Constitution. We got to sit in his home and listen to his stories, which was incredible to learn from, to be in the presence of a leader like that. We also got to go and meet Julius Malema.
I see. Oh, Julius, the Malema guy.
Yes, he's definitely really rocking the boat in South African politics. So we went to the EFF office and had a meeting with him just before he was to address the nation on he had just filed for the impeachment of Zuma the day before.
Yes.
And he spoke to us that day, and then he was called to address the nation. So that was quite interesting to be there when that was going on. And what were other highlights? We met some of the top business leaders in the country. We met with the dean of the University of the Witwatersrand.
Oh, nice.
There's been issues around student protests and the fees must fall movement. So we got to hear from him, from the perspective of the administration there. And then later that night, we got to meet with some of the student leaders who are agitating for change in the system. And it's been very controversial, So those were some of the experiences we had down there. And then connecting with the classmates, you were the same with 30 other classmates on that trip. Yeah. I think they're very good conversations. Oh, another highlight I forgot was visiting the Africa Leadership Academy.
Oh, you did?
In Johannesburg.
Oh, nice.
And we got to sit and work with the kids on the presentation they were going to be given the next day. And that was a very inspiring place. Some great young minds, some great young Kenyans there who are going to go on to do great things. So that was a real highlight. In fact, we have a ALA grad in our class, don't we? Jihad from Morocco.
She's also a fellow as well.
Oh yeah, she's one of the fellows.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So your family must be very proud of you. Are you going to bring them over to visit Stanford for graduation maybe next year?
Probably next year. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that'd be
They are really happy. But it's more pressure, I think. when you do one thing well and then they expect you to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're really happy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What are you thinking about next year? And some few years to come down.
So yeah, I think we're going to have a very interesting second year here. I'm also in this startup garage class.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's really good.
So working with a team to see if we can craft a viable idea to bring back to Kenya. A very interesting group of students working on that.
Is it still within the energy space?
That's what it's focused on in energy. I'm very passionate about renewable energy. I think there's a lot of work to do. I think it's a big market, burgeoning market. I think it's an interesting business space. And then I think there's just going to be some great other classes with some of the great professors at the business school. I'm particularly excited about one called Conversations in Management with Herb Grossbeck, who's one of.
Did you super round that?
Pardon?
Did you super round?
I was in my super round and got that class.
Congratulations, man! I just heard about it from Aisha, a second year yesterday.
Okay.
And she told me you should definitely get into that class.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
And you're in managing growing enterprises, right?
Right.
So that's another good one that I'm excited about. And then just really trying to, reflect, figure out, the context of my life, where I am, how I can keep, developing personally and helping those around me develop, and heading home to see what impact we can both have, and positive. I hope. Very positive.
That's really good.
Yeah. Well, Wagacha, thank you for coming on. It's been great to have a conversation.
Yes.
I think we'll have another one later in the year.
Okay, we
update
should,
on your
definitely.
plans.
Yeah, we can have one back at home.
Yeah, that would be good.
Over summer.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure, man. Thank you, as always.
Great.
Cheers. Well, okay.